This sketchbook contains 4 different research projects, and the one I'm introducing here focuses on fate and luck as a visual and conceptual inquiry. Rather than starting from divination or prediction, this project begins with a more fundamental question. In an increasingly uncertainty contemporary condition, how do people use symbols, structures, and rituals to understand their current state and regain the ability to act? Project 1 begins here. These pages approach luck as an experiential structure between the self and the external world, not an outcome, but a continuously acting field that shapes judgment, emotion, and orientation of action. Simple sketches explore how such fluid, hard-to-name states might take visual form. This part is multi-searching, driven by question, not random collecting. I look for symbols that can carry how good or bad luck is culturally constructed, so the later images rest on a discussable ground of meaning. Next, I move into a page-by-page study of the 8 selected motifs. In this section, each page focuses on a single symbol. I begin by examining its visual form and compositional features, then situate it within different Asian or Western cultural contexts to compare shifts in how it is read as good or bad fortune. I also refer to earlier historical and Asian cultural usage of the symbol. Based on this layered analysis, each page introduces initial visual ideas that guide how the motif may later be constructed and translated into a generative visual language. Project 2 uses realism to examine the ocean as a double experience. Light and movement produce attraction and the urge to approach, while depths, uncontrollability, and unknown life generate awe and fear. These forces do not cancel out. They co-produce the ocean's power, seductive precisely because cannot be fully understood or processed. I build an absurd, immersive environment to amplify this oscillation, shifting viewing from browsing to staying, and interrupting everyday tempo so one becomes aware of presence, limits, and distance. These 2 pages map to ocean-like experiences. One focuses on surface attraction and its pull, while the other frames repulsion, the awe and fear triggered by the unknown depths. This page focuses on submersion in the deep sea. When the body can no longer move freely as it does on land, orientation and control dissolve, forcing an experience akin to confinement. The adjacent page addresses suffocation in the inability to breathe or escape underwater. Physical limits are amplified, and fear shifts from imagination to a condition directly imposed on the body. This page is an earlier projection of the final presentation. On the left, I explore the median and form for a more novel viewing experience, using simple sketches to test shell variations and ocean-like spatial associations. On the right, I consider materials to define tactility, light, and atmosphere, aligning formal choices with the intended sensorial effect. Next, this page assigns the overall scene setup, translating earlier sensory aims into spatial structure, circulation, skill, sightlines, and lighting. The following page adds surrealism research, focusing on how displacement, instrument, and illogical combinations create psychological tension and support the scenes methodologically. Now I move into Project 3, which examines fragmented time. Under constant information inflow and productivity pressure, time stops feeling continuous and becomes broken into usable fragments, weakening our ability to sense time passing, and translate this condition into game-like escape experience where players act under interruption and pursuit, so the concept becomes physically filled. These 2 pages capture research and reasoning. The left is a collage that frames the atmosphere of information pressure and temporal rupture. The right documents how I developed ways to materialize time fragments and the sense of being overwhelmed through mechanics and spatial design. This page focuses on time itself, how under information pressure it shifts from a continuous flow into a fragmented experience. The next page moves to implementation. I explore how to build a space that is hard to detach from, using pacing and looping structures to make escape difficult and turn fragmentation into an embodied scene. Now I move into Project 4, starting from lived experience of physical pain. This section considers how the body-like nature expresses its states through cycles and fluctuations. Pain is treated not only as a symptom, but as a kind of climactic signal, indicating the body's own seasons and transitions. With these lines, page 1 maps key pain areas and uses simplified sketches to document their forms and how the pain manifests. Page 2 then outlines correspondence between the body and nature, drawing analogies with seasonal and weather changes to establish a direction for exploring the relationship between pain, environment, and psychological regulation.